Poppy the dog was keen to come out, and I thought I'd use the opportunity today to give you a bit of a special walking the dog. Let's let the girl off. Here, Pops. Good girl. There we are. And why is today special? Well, today is special because over the weekend I was away up in Cumbria. I was in a beautiful rural location close to Pica, the village of Pica, and that's near Workington on the coast. And the Light newspaper had put on a fantastic weekend camp with music and stalls and food and massage and lots of other things. And I've got to say it was utterly wonderful, and a huge thank you to all of the Light newspaper team for doing what they did. Because despite the weather, I'll come on to that, we all had a great time. The UK column team went up. We decided to go up from Plymouth on Thursday, and took quite a bit of preparation because it was myself and Kenny and Claire that went up from the column team, and that meant that Mike and Stephanie could carry on with the news. So 3 of us left on Thursday morning with 2 very full cars full of camping equipment, and we were met up on site by Charles Mannett and his wife and children, and also some of his family relations. And that was really lovely that they'd taken the trouble and been brave enough to come and join the event as well. So that was really nice for us as the UK column team. We had a good drive up from Plymouth, and in fact it was remarkably good. It's about 425 miles. M5, M6 all the way up, and then cut across from Penrith on I think it's the A66, really scenic road. Traffic was no problem at all on all of the motorway sections. We had a little bit of go slow a bit north of Birmingham, but it was only probably for about 3 or 4 miles. So with 2, possibly 3 stops, can't remember now, we were up at the campsite by 7 in the evening. So that was probably 7.25 hours, I think it took us. But it was quite an easy drive. A little bit tough getting to the campsite because it was cold and there was a lot of mist and very fine, busy rain. I'm going to say Kenny did a brilliant job helping me get the tents up, which we managed to do without getting too wet. Poppy was very suspicious. Poppy the dog's never been camping before, and poor girl was terrified of most of the items that came out the car. Everything from the clanking of the tent poles to the sound of the tent material being opened, and later she was very suspicious of the fact that if she walked on the ground, the plastic ground sheet, it didn't feel right, and it made sort of plasticky ground sheet noises. But we did eventually get her settled down, and the interesting thing was that the next morning, having finally got her into bed, into her comfy doggy bed in the tent, covered up with a blanket. She didn't want to get out of bed, so we eventually had to lever her out of the tent. But arrival was cold, and Pickle. Hello, dog. Hello, Pickle. It's fine. Hello. How are you? I was looking at these two and thinking, that looks very like Pickle. I could work it out initially, so... Yeah, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I was away camping.
Okay.
I've been away camping for the weekend. Yeah, up in Cumbria. Sort of... Well, it was lovely. It was a sort of music gathering. People had a lot of stalls and things selling things. I broke out our camping equipment, which probably hasn't been used for 20 years.
What, on proper tents or?
Yeah, well, I've got two pretty big tents, which I took up, and a big dome tent. And there was 3 of us. It was work orientated, but it was social. But
Nice.
well, Saturday was nice. I've now got a house full of wet tents, and I'm waiting for this to stop so I can get it out and get them dried off.
It's quite. It's been quite cold with it.
Yeah. Well, Thursday night, Friday morning particularly was really cold. We were sat in the tent drinking cups of tea and coffee because we could have the cooker on and get ourselves warm. That's fine. That's it. Come on. It's fine. Yes, I just had a little bit of a private chat with a lady I know very well there. So, yeah, so just the weather, the Thursday night we got up was very misty and this fine rain, and then Friday morning it was heavier but quite fine driving rain. It was also quite cold. So Kenny and Claire and myself stayed in the tent for, once we got up, for a couple of, 3 hours, 4 hours, drinking cups of tea and coffee. Hello. Because that was a social event, and also with a little stove on, things warmed up. So Friday was generally cold. The rain did stop later in the early in the afternoon, so that wasn't too bad. Saturday was lovely, sunshine, everything transformed into summer. And then the Sunday, unfortunately, it went cold and grey. I don't think it rained at all. And then, of course, Monday, when we had to pack up, it decided to tip down. And so we had the fun of, I can't remember what, Tetris, isn't it? The game where you've got to organise the pieces of the puzzle so they all fit. We had to do that and keep one tent up so we could keep everything dry while we put all the big stuff in the car. But we managed to do it. So that's a little synopsis of what the camping was like. The event, just wonderful. A lot of people. I don't know how many. I think I heard somebody say they thought about 2,000. Lots of different people, lots of families, a lot of children who had great fun, not only on the bouncy castle and bouncy slide stuff that was there, but obviously just enjoying running around. A lot of dogs, so that was good. And a lot of really lovely people that we talked to. Many, of course, we didn't know as the UK column team. But I'm going to say a big thank you to all the UK column people, the supporters that came to our shop, which we set up in a little, it's a thing called an event tent, so it's like a big dome tent, but you can get quite a few people in there, plus the stalls with all the merchandise. And people came over, they bought things, which was lovely, they chatted to us, they laughed, they joked, they gave us hugs, they wanted photos taken with us, and many of them, if not most of them, just said, we want to thank you guys for everything you're doing. And that was just lovely for us. It's such a huge boost when people come to us and say thank you for what we've been doing. And I learnt that certainly out of the people there, most of the people had learned to the UK column during COVID lockdown. That was the time that they woke up. And several of them said that they'd been in quite a bad place during that lockdown time, and that we had kept them sane, which of course is what we've mentioned from emails before. So we really enjoyed it, and we were at the end of the day, when people had done all their sort of shopping and things, we were able to just sit and have a beer with a few people in the UK column tent and have a chat, and that was lovely. Kenny did a brilliant job because he got two wonderful, I think they're called feather banners with UK column on, and they're really lovely, very well made, so big thank you to the company that provided those. And they really did make a statement for the UK column tent. People could see us, and it looked good. I'll put up a photo so you can see. So all that was lovely. Great music by a number of bands and different genres for different people, and we had some DJ sessions. I wasn't able to enjoy listening and being there with the music as much as I would like, because it was quite loud. I know that's the way it is. It was quite loud. It was a bit loud for Poppy, and the trouble with Poppy is she's like a limpet, and it's I don't often certainly up there I wasn't going to get away from Poppy, because she was a bit nervous probably until the last couple of days. Come on, girl, that'll do. We'll just go to the car park and back. Everybody had fun, and in the evening there were some big group chats around the fire pit, and it was just lovely. When I walked around and I talked to people, and I said to them, what have you got out of being here? And they said it's just lovely to be able to talk to people about anything we want, and we're not worried about what people are going to think of us or what they say, and we've just enjoyed relaxed chatting and laughing and having fun. And it was brilliant. In my head it was absolutely people being people. I could say a bit as I remember, when people were relaxed and chatty and laughing and having a beer together or whatever it was. So it was lovely. I know a huge amount of organisation there by the light. We were really pleased to get an invite, and we enjoyed ourselves. And I hope there's going to be many more of these things, because they're very uplifting. Katie Jo also came along from Hope, Sussex, and that was good because we had a catch-up chat with Katie Jo. She's obviously doing equivalent things, and I hope this sort of expands around the country, because the more people come together and relax, it strengthens them, it recharges them, and at the end of the day, not only is there strength in numbers, but people realise that their concerns and their wish to do something to stop some of the horrors going on in this country at the moment, that's all strengthened by being together with other people. A lot of knowledge from individuals on all sorts of matters, anything from the constitution to some things happening in politics or farming or food or health, and it was all being discussed. She's fine. Yeah.
They're down, nice and wet.
Lively puppy.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little very lively black Labrador who's been swimming in the river. Yes, I'm going to say it was great, and let's have more of these things. Let's get more of these things where people are getting away from the dreaded box and the BBC, and they're getting lots of fresh air and exercise, and families and individuals are getting together and really enjoying proper interaction with other human beings. It was good. Now what I'm going to do is I've done the bit because I have been walking Poppy the dog, but I thought from here on I'll just share with you some of the interviews, or bits of interviews, clips of interviews that I did with people on the campsite, and I'll share a few other audio clips to give you a little bit of a flavour of what it was all about. And yes, for those with visual special needs, I did take some photos, so I'll put some of those up on screen, and you can get a better feel as to what the Cumbria Light Festival was all about. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for joining me. Stay posted. Here it comes. So I'm here outside the UK column tent with a gentleman. Don't give me your full name, just give me your first name.
Well, neither. My name's Strike.
Okay, where are you from?
From all over. I live in my motorhome. I travel now.
Oh, okay.
Full-time
Right.
traveller.
Yeah.
And
You got in here okay,
Got
because it's
here
a
all
bit
right, yeah.
wet and slippery.
It's a
and
bit
stuff.
damp. Luckily, I was up here a couple of weeks ago at the WTF festival.
Right.
So I knew what to expect. So I brought rescue ramps and stuff, so I'm not going to
wow.
get stuck in the field.
Yeah.
But yeah, I realised the time to get here. But no, it's great. It's
Right,
great.
okay.
Meeting of like minds. It's great.
Key question then,
Yeah.
why have you come?
My wife knows the organiser pretty well.
Right, yeah.
She couldn't make it today. She's at another event.
Right.
And I was up here a couple of weeks ago and spoke to Darren briefly.
Yeah.
Saw the advert for it and thought, yeah, this is...
So have you been to one of these before?
No, because this is the first one, isn't it? But I've been to this type of thing.
Yeah.
And I suppose I agree with the freedom movement.
Yeah.
I knew something was wrong quite some time ago.
Yeah.
So I've been following this sort of path for quite some years. So I'm here to, meet some new people, spread some contacts,
Have some
listen
fun
to a bit of
and
music.
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 2 weeks ago it was all talks, I should say. There was talk after talk after talk. Really interesting information at the WTF festival. This, I think, should be a bit more laid back, maybe a bit more music.
I think so.
So I thought, come and support as well. I always like to support these sort of things. And living in the van, it's great to be able to come here.
Yeah. It's just great to be able to talk to people and not worrying about what you're saying or what you think or whatever. And everybody's very sociable.
Yeah, exactly.
Older guy. I'm an older guy, but another older guy I was talking to about an hour ago, and I said, it's really weird, isn't it? Because it's like it was with people when you just talked.
When you could talk and you could disagree and not hate each other. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
So, do you think we'll see Mariana Spring here?
I don't believe this is the sort of place you'd come to. Yeah. Though, interestingly, at the last one, Sky News sent a couple of reporters.
Oh, wow.
So it's quite interesting to see them question a few people, and a few people agreed to interviews. I wasn't very keen on that, actually. Yeah. But a few people did agree to interviews, but I don't know whether they've actually put anything out yet. Right. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
People were very skeptical.
But they're obviously feeling that they need to come and cover them. Yeah. So there's a bit of pressure, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, I listened to a couple of his questions, and he was saying this freedom movement started 4 years ago. Why is it still going? And to watch a lot of people saying, well, because it's actually more and more people are waking up to the fact that we've been lied to for
and you're part of the lie.
And you're part of the lie. Or are you here to actually tell a truthful story? Oh no! So it was very interesting, actually. But you're right. The vast majority of the people here have the same thought pattern. So.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I like the fact there are families here and there's young children and things.
I'm intrigued.
People are exposing. Want their children to experience this. Yeah, it's great.
Yes. Well, I nearly brought my grandson, but we thought it was just a little bit because he's on half term.
Right.
And because I came on my own. But we thought, no, he's not quite old enough yet, but maybe he would have been worse.
Yeah.
But I'd just like to say as well, thank you very much. My wife and I are long-term watchers of the UK column.
Thank you very much.
So thank you for the content. It's great, and we recommend the channel to many people.
Yeah, great.
And
great.
We're
not everybody's taste, but then the important thing is the thing I can see is there are now more and more people doing good work. Yeah. So brilliant.
Couldn't agree more. The word is spreading. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
Right, I think I'm actually recording on everything now. Let's just go and see what we get. There's lots of dogs, so I'm just being a bit wary that Poppy's not going to get too fractious. I wonder whether the dancing lady will talk to me, because I've seen her dancing at the top of the field. Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm recording audio, so you're happy to keep talking to me?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So give me a name.
Mark.
Mark, hello Mark. Where are you from?
I'm from West Yorkshire.
Okay. What do you think of the event then?
Oh, fantastic. I met Daz a few months ago at a gig, and he was telling me of putting it on, so I've kind of helped him out a little bit with bands and stuff like that.
All right, yeah.
But yeah, it was lovely to know that you was here actually, because I watch you every week.
Well, we have really enjoyed getting on with the Light newspaper for a long time.
Yeah.
And so Darren said he was putting on the event, and would we come up? Would we like a stall? So we said, yeah, we'll be up.
Brilliant.
And it's really nice.
It's everybody's just so chilled out. It's just a really nice vibe,
Well, this is a topic that has come up with everybody I've spoken to this morning doing this, and they say we can walk around and we can chat to people about anything we want, and there's no hassle, and then people are normal, they're laughing and they're joking, and it's true, isn't it?
As it should be.
Yeah.
As it should be.
If Mariana Spring was here with us, she'd be wandering around and she's trying to find what's wrong with us.
Exactly.
But everybody here is just normal.
As it should be, This is how we all really are. We've all had our heads bent and messed with over the past, for many years. Particularly over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to see that people have got out the other side of it.
Yeah.
And are coming together now. And this is not only happening here, is it? It's happening all over the country and all over the world.
Yeah.
I see what you report on, and mainstream media is never going to tell you what you guys see and what you see. But what I like about you guys is you keep it within the parameters of what's kind of within the kind of law, if you like. I know you loosely, but you're very good, very eloquent with the way that you deliver your stories, and I like that. And I've turned so many people onto UK column.
Yeah, it can be tricky, you see, because our logic, when we had our second UK column studio in Plymouth, it was on a bit of a hill, and we could look out the window, and you looked over all these houses with grey slate roofs.
Yeah.
And you knew that in those houses were people who, probably they were husband and wife working, not earning a huge amount, but they were both working, they got a little mortgage, and they got a car, and they got children, and they haven't got time, to see stuff. But also, you've got to wake them up gently. And so we decided that what we were going to try and do was tell the truth about what was happening, but keep it in a very measured form.
Yeah.
And so some people say to us, oh, you never talk about this or you never talk about that. And we say, well, other people are talking about that. And they say, yeah, but it's important. And then we say, but you're awake.
Yeah.
We're not talking to the people who are awake. We're talking to the people who are just waking up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've had a couple of MPs, we've had the professors and some quality people talking to us. And I think that's because they regard us as being almost, middle of the road, and they're not going to get anything too wacky with the UK column. Yeah. So they trust us. But if we went on and talked, I'm recording here, but if I was sat down with you having a beer and you wanted to get on to UFOs or demonic warfare, I'll talk to you, right? But that's not the stuff for the news, because you just spoil the other messages. So we just go slowly. But I tell you, the thing which has been like we've never seen this before was the trouble in Israel and Gaza. Yeah. Oh boy, did we have some unpleasant emails from people who said they were Christians. Really horrible emails. Yeah. And that really surprised me,
You don't know how much of that's shills, or you don't know how much that's people kind of.
Well, I've got to say, some of them I know who it was, and I was really surprised because some of them were venomous.
Yeah, I imagine. You're always going to get kickback. But it's like I was saying years ago, you can't wake a sleepwalker. They'll just attack you.
Yeah, this is true.
Wake them up gently.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was just talking to my mate over there, and he was worried about the whole wake-up process, which seems to have happened on a mass scale over the last 3 years. Yeah. But then you've got the people that have just woken up and they're spouting this and they're spouting that, and they're massively uneducated in what they're saying, so they turn people off them straight away.
Yeah, it's a problem, but
follow the cabal and all this sort of stuff. And then
I just say that when I first was finding out the stuff, and some of it was pretty weird. I was lucky that I met some good people who had been doing stuff well before my time, and I was happy to listen to them and learn from them. I didn't agree with everything they said, but I just learned from them. But it is easy that it gets into your head, and then people start going in all sorts of directions.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you here all weekend then?
Well, Monday we're going back. So we came on Thursday.
You've seen Piers kicking around?
No, not yet. I was told he was going to be here today.
He was here last night. I walked out. Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah. And he's staying in the smallest tent in the world. Yeah. It's like that. And I've walked him back to his tent. I said, "You're sleeping in that?" Yeah. He went, "Yeah." I said, "How come you're sleeping in that, man?"
Because he's a real person, isn't it?
Well, my girlfriend normally has a big tent, but she's not here, so I brought this. And I'm going to start calling him Tortoise. Tortoise Corbin. Yeah. Anyway, Brian, lovely to meet you.
Yeah, it's great to see you.
I'll keep spreading the word, pal.
Thanks very much. And visit us over at the shop there.
I'm going to come and buy something.
Yeah, do. Thank you.
Hey, it's lovely to meet you, Brian.
Can I speak to you?
Not on camera.
No, it's not camera. It's just audio. You don't have to give me a name.
Oh, so that would be all right. No, it's just I was due to be here, but not on the beam.
Oh, right. Okay. No.
My face is...
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's just I've watched you dancing in the field all yesterday. Yes. You were doing it, and you're back here dancing today. So just tell people, why are you dancing?
Because everything we have is here. So I'm dancing barefoot. Yeah. And it's one of the things that we've become disconnected from. It's just realising that nature isn't some wishy-washy kind of hippie thing.
Yeah.
Actually, we're all innately, that's part of being human, is being part of being nature. And it's just the route to health when you connect with the sun yesterday coming down and the soil.
And the amazing grass here, it's pretty impressive.
So,
isn't it?
I mean, I know quite a lot about flowers, so it's actually very biodiverse grass that we're dancing on. And it's just, electrons come up from the ground and they're very essential for our...
Yeah, and you feel better.
Yeah.
And the music's good as well.
It's nature and the music together for me is like what brings it together.
Well,
and, the music's wonderful. And sometimes, like because I'm connected with the earth, there's occasionally, not now or today, but music isn't correct in the heart, and when I'm really connected with nature, I can feel it's not healthy for me.
Right.
So it helps me to discern what music is not all right.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah, great. Well, there you are. That was painless.
Yeah, that was painless.
Audio's good because I've been doing this thing. I just call walking the dog. I take the dog out for a walk to speak to people. And invariably people will, when I say I'm recording audio, and they look a bit funny initially, but then they'll speak and they forget. But if I pointed a camera at them, it changes the whole dynamic. So audio's interesting, and I've pushed back with a few people saying you should do it audio, and I'm saying no, because I'm talking to you. And I walked up the path earlier on with two ladies and we're just chatting, and I wasn't even thinking about what I was doing. I was just enjoying the chat. That makes it good.
It does.
Anyway,
just, with all the stuff that's so focused on the face and facial recognition, it just feels nice to me.
But
thank you, Brian.
It's only a microphone.
Of course it is. If I'd concentrated, I would have known that.
I know. I keep meaning, those little stick-on eyes you can get for the children. I keep meaning to get a couple on these because I'm sure it'd take the heat off it a bit. Brilliant.
How are you getting on here?
Oh, it's great because, people have been asking us to do more live stuff, but it's difficult fitting it in, and we're away. Mike's having to do more on his own on Friday and coming Monday. But the best bit is people who come up to us and say thank you. And it's wonderful. That's all you need. Right. I'll see you. Bye bye. Well, that was lovely, wasn't it? That's what happens when you take the trouble to go and speak to a very nice lady who was dancing on her own in the field. And I can't remember whether what I was doing when I saw her yesterday. Oh, I know. I was just, yes, that's right. I was just in the shop, the UK column shop, and I looked out. And there was this lady on her own, sort of in the middle of the wide part of the field, dancing, and it was really great. So there we are. So we got a little bit more. Who is the health and safety officer?
Yes, who done the X?
A quarter.
No, unfortunately it's. I'm recording a bit of audio still. I could turn it off, but on the other hand, you've come to visit us. You are.
I don't live too far away, so I'm very local and live near towards Carlisle. Carlisle and Wigton.
And have you been to these sorts? Or not? You
the first time, and it's quite good to have something like this in West Cumberland. Because this area, it's different to the lakes proper. It's it's a former the industrial area, and it's one of the most deprived areas in the country. Really, Workington, Whitehaven, some of those towns. Because there was a lot of heavy industry here, and it gradually closed down during the 80s. I mean, there was steel works. I mean, some of the highest grade iron or hematite was mined here, and there was a steel works in Workington and at Millom as well. I mean, further down the coast. And when they went, like particularly Millom, there was nothing left. And they used to make fussies. There was chemical plants, the Marchand plant at Whitehaven. Quite a lot of industry, but it's all gone now. Apart from Sellafield, a lot of mining as well. You see that like Piker was a pit village, and obviously it's closed down, and there's just still a lot of unemployment since the 80s.
Yeah, and of course that was Margaret Thatcher's era, wasn't it?
Yeah, and nothing was put back. And the infrastructure, just getting here, the best road in is the A66, the road south is around to Barrow. It's just horrendous,
Well, on the other hand, the fact you haven't got good roads in and out means that all the rest of it stays.
I mean, that's up back towards Ravenglass. It's a very pretty bit of coast, because the Lakeland Fells go right down to the coast there.
Right.
You've got the Esker estuary, which is very, very pretty. I mean,
my sister's been up in this area a lot because within the family's connections to Penrith.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
But I've never been up in the lakes, and my wife's very keen to come up.
Yeah.
And so, actually, I was volunteered to come up for this weekend. But it wasn't difficult. But when we drove Thursday, the weather was a bit claggy until we got right up, and then the sun started to come out. Just as we got on the A66 with those amazing hills and things.
It can look really nice. It would be a nice drive if you get the weather. I mean, there's nowhere like it. But you just come at the right time, because midweek there was horrendous rain, and there's quite a bit of flooding. The villages near me, there's quite a lot of flooding there.
Right.
I mean, I work a lot with my brother's dairy. Well, he was a dairy farmer, a beef and sheep. He passed away just a couple of weeks ago. And I work a lot with farmers in a group called the Farmer Network Cumbria. It's a support group for farmers. And I run the farmers group in the northeast, the borderlands area of Cumbria.
Right. So tell us, not necessarily now, but UK Column would love more on the farming side. Charles Mallett's is here.
I've actually emailed about him because my farmers in the northeast corner and the borderlands, they're worried about land being bought up for tree planting, and a lot's already been bought over the decades by the
What sort of trees?
Well, a lot of it's Sitka spruce, and a lot of it was on old farmland. The Forestry Commission in probably from the 30s to the 60s bought a lot of it up. And land price is going up, and just the Trust Bob bought a farm, and a lot of that, some of that's going to be, we're going to plant some broadleaf, but a lot of that's going to be Sitka as well. And quite interesting. We did like a tested trial with my farmers group. It was originally it was for DEFRA, but we turned it, so we used it to our advantage to try and prove what farming brings, as well as producing high quality beef and sheep, is how farming actually benefits the environment. And if you're going to plant trees over it, you're going to lose all that. And one of the things...
coniferous trees don't have the habitat of deciduous
No, they don't. I did a
they?
short film of this. It's not very good. I sent it to Charlie. It is really bad. It needs done again. But one of those things, what we did was a soil test, a soil carbon test. And I tested some fields and old pastures. There's an old farming couple lived next to one of the big forests, Kersham Forest. And about 60 years ago, it was all old pasture. And I did a short video comparing the soils of the old pasture and into the Sitka spruce plantation. And the old pasture is beautiful soils, the mixed species of sward, mixed grasses, wildflowers, and it's got dark brown soil, and it just breaks up, crumbles, and penetrate the soil, and there's a lot of earthworms. And you go into this spruce plantation, and you just have like grey, colourless soil, compacted, no life in it at all. And we did a soil carbon test, and the old pastures had over 20% more carbon than what the spruce plantation had. So the spruce has obviously oxidised that organic matter in the soil, and it's made it, and it's acidified it in the process, but why it's got no structure, it's compacted and no life in it. And it's only about the second or third crop now, and the trees, what's going to happen is going to deplete the soil further and further, and if it's going to continue, we haven't seen this yet, but I imagine it's going to really impoverish that soil.
Incredible. You see, we're just having a chat, and all this knowledge comes flooding out, doesn't it?
I've learned enormous from you people.
You'll make the proper contact with Charles today because he's here.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to Charles about this. And also what I'm very concerned about, and the director of the Farmer Network who I work for, Adam Day, who's an auctioneer as well, because a lot of farmers open their heart out to him.
Right.
There's a big Louth estate, and it borders onto the United Utilities estate by Haweswater, so you own masses of lots of land between them.
Yeah.
And a lot of tenancies are not being renewed. And what's happening is we're going into this landscape recovery scheme. Part of the Elms, it's the higher tier, and it pays between £200 and £900 per hectare each year for 20 years, so it's about twice as long as a
rewilding.
For rewilding, and they're doing like really next to nothing, very little, and old Lowther, I've been told, are getting about £500 per hectare. Well, that's double what they'll get on tenants.
Who's Lowther?
The Lonsdale, Lord Lonsdale. Estate, the Lowthers, the Lonsdale estates.
Right.
They live at Askham Hall. They used to have like Lowther Castle. It was commandeered during the war.
Right. So we got politicians who are benefiting from the policies.
Well, Lowther've got a lot of connections, yes.
Right.
And then again, you've got United Utilities as well, a big corporation. So they're getting like public money to pay for rewild, where you're getting good agricultural land going out of production. And also there's some of it like common land as well, where you probably saw on the way up on the M6 over Shap before you got to Penrith, masses of tree planting. There's big, like the motorway, the huge central reservation with a couple of fields. It's all planted with trees. That was recently done, and I've been told that the planting have not been renewed. And what's going to happen there is you're going to get a build-up of thatch because it was grazed by sheep. And the whole lot's going to be a fire hazard. So you can just imagine, like, first-time fires here and there, and the BBC will blame it on climate change or something like that. But it's never happened before. Well, it's not. It's just totally lack of management, and they're worried about some of the too many sheep taking off the moors as well, where it's a fine balance. I mean, yes, in the past they were overgrazed, there were degradation, but if you take too much off, they get outgrown, and you get things like gorse, sometimes the wrong species growing in, or you just get like rank grasses, and it destroys what was the biodiversity, and it allowed to build up. You get the walkers going there, and it's just like a match going up the whole lot, and it's on like peaty organic soils. So the whole lot's going to make it a fire hazard.
And I'll just give you this little story back, but he's doing another job now, but my nephew was a firefighter in the States on forest fires. And the stories he was telling is that the fire service in America were getting more and more concerned that in the wooded areas, the build-up of wood debris on the forest floor was getting bigger and bigger because the authorities had stopped them doing controlled burns. The firefighters said, well, in the wild, it builds up and then there's a fire, right? And then everything regrows from the fire. But the authorities stopping them putting fires, and then the timber building up. And when they get fires, they're immensely hot because there's so much debris. And then you get these huge fireball jump overs. And that was these rapid fires and the fireballs are what then put all the homes at risk. But when the firefighters say to the authorities, you're causing the trouble around these fires, of course they don't know what they're talking about.
And you get the news, it comes in the news, and it's all climate change.
Absolutely.
What's caused it? Well, it's not, and it's happening around the world. I mean, I've got a friend, she's a firefighter in Galicia, northwest Spain, and there's a lot of like small holes that have been planted in with eucalyptus, and that's is a fire hazard
because of the oils and stuff.
And you get like the bark debris as well. It peels off and it gathers as thatch on the floor. On the floor. I think the reason why there's a very quick turnover, why it's probably more nutrients and they grow quite well there. But it's ruined the landscape, and then on top of the hills you've got like wind turbines.
Yeah,
it's really,
it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, are you happy to give me a name?
Peter Folder.
Right, Peter, thank you very much for that. It was really brilliant.
Yeah.
And how did you discover the UK column?
It was during COVID. It was actually a friend who mentioned it. It was quite horrible, so I checked you out because I've never heard of you. It'd probably be about sort of end of 2020, towards the latter end of 2020, and I just became a regular viewer and a member as well. So
brilliant, thank you for that. Yeah,
and I mean, I watch you 3 times a week, and X Man have learned such a lot, and
good.
But I was just graduate a while. I mean, I knew there'd been something wrong for quite some time. But what did it to me wasn't so much 9/11, it was like the Syria conflict, what didn't make sense to me. Because I remember Cameron saying, we should go over there, help the Free Syrian Army. And I was thinking, well, it's bloody madness, because look at Lebanon. Syria's like Lebanon on a larger scale. Yeah. And I thought, surely you're just going to get absolute chaos if you do that. And then I learned out, well, who were the actual Free Syrian Army? Because they've disappeared now. Yeah. And all what they did was sending them the weapons onto Daesh. And obviously I've learned a lot more Syria from Vanessa. I mean, a huge amount there. And I did jiu-jitsu and I was sensor. We used to talk about all these things, the banks. And I first heard about the Collie Greg case as well. Right, yeah. But it wasn't until like 2020 that all these stuff started to link up when I was hearing, likes of UK column and Sonia Poulton as well. And I thought, all this is a huge network. The whole lot is. It is connected. The whole lot's connected. Yeah. And it's like tentacles of a giant squid. What it is, and you just really just want to find out more and just do what I can and try and sort of spread the word as much as I can.
A few people I've talked to this morning walking around, it's exactly this, that it just needs all of us to do a little bit, rather than a few doing a lot. But and that's great.
Yeah, and I try and engage with farmers now. They do a bit of like consultancy work with farmers, be it not catchment centre farming, naturally intended, but they are quite useful. We do like soil testing and soil analysis, soil reports, nutrient planning, so the farmers can benefit from those. And I started engaging the farmers, and a lot of them obviously know the things are wrong, and you can just probe them, just get them that little bit deeper and get
that's the aim. It's the step. Some people say to us that we don't cover certain subjects, and we say no, because we're not actually talking to you guys who are awake. We're talking to the people who are just starting. And you take them up 3 or 4 steps at a time. If you try and
you couldn't possibly say what it actually was the root, because it takes a while to do it. It takes a year or two to digest. What really is at the back of it all. Yeah. So people really have got to be drip fed.
Absolutely.
I understand that completely.
I'm going to say that's utterly brilliant. Time for me to press the stop, but thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
So I just set the scene a little bit. I've been up to the top field, and I'm very pleased that Charles and his wife and the children are now with us, and he tells me that he's got more family here, so this is particularly nice. Good morning.
One moment, enjoy your show, by the way.
All right, I'm
CD.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
The fifth track on there, Dr. Blood Money. It's about, well, you can guess what that's about.
Okay, Moon Juice. Yeah. So I'm recording audio at the moment.
Oh, right.
So is that okay?
Yeah.
Right. So you've just given me a CD. It's Moon Juice, Gone Beyond. Sometimes the Lights Are Smoke. Just This, Killing Floor,
and Dr. Blood Money.
Dr. Blood Money. And what sort of music is this?
It's a bit indie rock, bit of funkiness, a bit of folkiness, bit of blues.
Right.
A little bit psychedelic.
Okay, brilliant. Where are you?
We're on in 2:15 this afternoon.
Oh, okay. 2:15. But where are you from? Where's home?
From Liverpool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great.
And, enjoy the show.
Right.
Met Patrick. He's not on the show anymore, is he?
Well, I thought he's back in the States, actually.
Yeah, but someone told me he's going to rush.
And also, he'd hurt himself. He'd done something. Right. So there's some catching up to be done. 2:15, I will come along and we'll do some recording. Yeah, I'll record on this.
All right, nice one.
And I'll catch you again.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk back with Oz here. We're going back to get this down to the guys in the shop because they're standing up at the moment.
All right.
But thank you very much. All right, yeah, brilliant. Take care. So that's really a classic example of just having a chat with people. But I'm here with a lady, and you're going to give me a name or not?
We'll leave that. I think you already gave it.
Oh, okay. Well, we can do some editing if I made a boo-boo. Yeah. So, where's home roughly? There's a bit of a hint with your accent, maybe.
Yeah, northwest, Greater Manchester.
Okay. And have you been to these sorts of events before?
Yeah, I've been to. There's one called Carry On Camping that I went to last year. That was on twice.
And where were those events then?
Lincolnshire.
Oh wow, the flatlands.
Yes, yeah, very flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was 2 of them on last year, one in the Maybank holiday and one in August.
And are they the same sort of format with camping and music and?
Yeah, there's a lot more going on. There's various speakers, workshops. There's a healing area where you can have various treatments, massages, Reiki, things like that.
Right.
They have like a lake swim organised. There's things going on for all ages, from morning till night.
Yeah, and it's nice to see the children, isn't it? Because
there's loads of
families doing things. It's good.
Yeah, loads of kids, loads of dogs, pets. It's a really nice atmosphere.
Yeah. Hello.
How's Poppy doing?
She's doing very well.
Oh, good.
I'll tell you what, shall I catch you up in a second,
okay,
and then you can recover from the shock. So I'm recording at the moment. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah, so I decided that it was easy to come round and walk the dog and talk to people here.
What a brilliant idea, yeah.
And it's been fun actually, because I've spoken to some really nice people. We're just about to get, my expression is squashed. We're just about to get squashed. Yeah. Where are you from?
Manchester.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Salford.
And have you been to these sorts of things before?
Yeah, I have. Well, I went to the first UK Column Conference actually.
Did you?
It's not like this, yeah.
Well, no, but we are going to do a live event later in the year. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It'll be in a hotel, and we hope to have some really good speakers. But
Fantastic.
people have been badgering us for a long time about doing some more live stuff.
Yeah.
And we had to have a break from it because there's only so much you can do. And even coming away to this, Mike's got to do the Monday news and the Friday news and do most of the stuff himself. But we're getting better, and the team has grown, so we hope to be doing more.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. There's probably loads of work that has to be done.
What, for the column?
Yeah.
Oh, it's. I think we're allowed to say, I've got a sneaking suspicion that when other people have sort of said, oh, we can do what the column can do, and maybe they do something for a while and then it seems to fade away, and I think it's because they find out how much work goes into it. But the nice thing is there is more people doing things.
Yes.
So that's really good. How did you discover the column then?
Well, I mean, going back to 2012, 2013, somebody recommended Watch UK Column.
Yeah, so a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. I had a sort of an awakening experience. And suddenly thought, what's going on in the world?
Wow. Well, one of the things that's fun for us is because in the beginning we did print a newspaper.
Yes.
A hard copy newspaper.
Yes.
And when the Light team got in contact with us and we were having a bit of discussion about what we did and how we got started, and I said, well, actually we printed a paper, and I went and got a copy, and of course they were amazed. And so I said we found it fun that they'd started the paper, which I think they've done a brilliant job on. And it was almost like that was absolutely somebody picking up the baton, because we felt we wanted to, hello, rest in peace the deep state.
Yeah, game over. Right?
Game over. Yeah, you're feeling optimistic then?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We were just saying how well the Light team have done putting all this on. So I'm recording audio, I should tell you.
Okay.
But you need say anything you don't want to.
No, that's okay. No.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Meet you, yeah.
I decided to do walking the dog by coming round the campsite and having a chat with people.
I have,
Good man.
for the new up and coming, what is it, the election?
Yeah.
Which is, this is appropriate, I think.
It is. Well, it is.
To the back of my van.
Yeah, great.
I must say, I don't listen to.
I see you. Yeah.
I support you every month.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're too intelligent for me.
Yeah, no, I know.
But it's okay. But I think you're really. I support you, although I don't watch it all the time.
Mind your back.
I think it's important that you are there.
Yeah. No, what we do is pretty intense.
It
I
is.
know this.
Sometimes
And this is
I just don't. It's sort of. You know what I'm saying. I'm not stupid.
No, it's not that.
No, but I say that to you.
Well, I don't think you should, because if you were stupid, you wouldn't be here.
No, I wouldn't.
That's the answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've always stuck at the fact that we think the way to be getting back is to be accurate,
Yes.
and the business about, is it news and information or is it entertainment? This is a tricky one because people want both.
Well, yeah.
But that's why I've been doing these walking the dog things. Have you listened to any of those?
I haven't. No, I mean, I didn't.
No, it's all right. Right. So YouTube, Brian Gerrish, walking the dog.
Oh, you're on YouTube.
Yeah, because
I didn't realise you were on YouTube.
Well, it was the UK column account that got taken down. So basically, I walk Poppy locally, and I meet people and I talk to them. But I also it's very relaxed. There's nothing heavy, and a small number of viewers, but lots of lovely comments of people saying, "Oh, it was wonderful. I just chilled out." And I got people saying, "I listened to you walking the dog from Istanbul, and I listened to you walking the dog from," and I just keep it down to chatty, like I'm doing now.
Just friendly
Hello.
and easy going.
All the time. I just want to say hello.
Yeah,
Thank you so
I'm
much for
cheating
everything
by
you do.
walking Poppy the dog.
Hello.
Right,
We walked past and we had a conversation and we were like, "That's UK column."
Yeah, I'll walk down the road with you because I'm going back to our.
We watch you all the time.
You do?
Yes. Yeah, every day.
You sad person.
No, there's nothing. Yeah, we're not sad. We don't watch mainstream news, so.
Yeah. So how did you discover us then?
It was a couple of years ago, probably the beginning of.
Hang on a minute. I need to change hands with this because the dog keeps changing sides on
Them
me.
leads, we've got 3 dogs. Them leads are lethal when they let go of them. You ain't got control.
Come on.
How old is she?
14.
Yeah.
See?
Got it. She's still got it.
Come on.
We've got 3 Romanian rescues.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful dogs, but I've got special needs, obviously.
Yeah. There's
Thank you so much for everything that you do. You research so hard. Everything. My news is your news.
Well, I'm going to say to you that when we come out to these events and people come and see us, and yesterday, a lot of people came up and they just wanted a chat. But one lady said, "I've come to say you guys saved me because I was in such a bad place."
Yeah. She said, "You haven't brought the phone. I wanted a picture." I said, "Well, we're still going to say hello."
Oh, we're here.
It's hard to get out of that bad place sometimes, isn't it? It really is. But you've got to kind of think about your own life, your own family, and just try and get yourself through it the best you can.
Yeah.
She's very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very. I'm not as much.
It's frightening.
Yes.
Especially all the SRA stuff. It's like.
Well, there's a thing. It's an old saying for people at sea, and it's one hand for yourself, one hand for the ship, and one hand for yourself.
Absolutely.
And the logic is that if you don't keep one hand hanging on for you, you can't do anything for the ship.
Right.
And this is exactly the same. So,
that's absolutely right, that, Amory.
Absolutely.
Do you want to go into the thing? I don't know if we can sneak through here. Can we sneak through here? Probably we can, Yeah, so it's going to be noisy. No, it's really important to do things to keep yourself sane and relax.
Yeah, I do. more, you don't.
You kind of switch
She
off
keeps
from it
herself up all night
I
worrying.
can, but sometimes it can be tricky. But walking the dog is key for me.
Absolutely.
That's a bit for me. I do a lot of dog walking.
Yeah. And the other thing, I don't say I can play it, but I've been trying to teach myself the violin for a long time.
Oh,
and I find when I do that, because I have to concentrate, all the other stuff disappears.
Camping for me, so I'm not looking after. We've got a very disabled son,
Right.
so not looking after him, not looking after the dogs, not doing the housework, not doing the job, just sitting outside with a coffee,
chilling.
listen to the birds. I like birds.
Yeah.
So listen to the birds, the open air.
Yeah.
Forget about anything that's going on. Whether it's any
You've
bad
got
stuff.
to though, because it's actually a really scary big world out there, isn't it?
So if you haven't listened to Walking the Dog, you might enjoy it.
Yeah,
So
it's
sorry.
a new series.
Right.
It's new series that you've just
And I've
started,
had some
isn't it?
brilliant comments.
I bet. It's when you reflect.
Yeah,
It's
and
very
I
reflective,
didn't want to
isn't
be bullied into video, because what I'm doing with you now, I'm just relaxing. I'm not thinking about a camera or anything, and it's fun.
Yeah. I don't think I could be put in front of a camera. I'm too shy.
Well,
I don't even like my picture being taken, so I couldn't do
none
what
none of us do, and it gets worse every year. We don't like seeing ourselves.
Well, it's just not. Some people are made for it.
How
Some
do
people
you
are.
cope with it all? How do you cope, like with? Because obviously,
I'll tell you what,
it's
let's come away from the-
news, isn't it? Yous are the ones that are doing the research. You're feeding it back.
Because how do we cope with it? We know it's serious, and we treat it as serious.
Yeah.
But we also regard it as a game.
It is.
It's like a big game, right?
One hand on the ship.
And the other bit is that we don't worry about anything. You know, I mean,
That's what you've got to do.
I even.
She worries too much about everything.
We've got a grandson, you know. It's just.
We had a lady who emailed me, and she said, I'm loving the walking the dog, but you need to be really careful if you're out in the woods on your own. And I'm thinking, no, I don't. I just, you know.
Never had any threats or anything.
In the beginning, yeah, but the when it all stopped was the moment that I started to be known.
Yeah.
And that's been true for quite a lot of people. That when they're, the rule is, if you get attacked, you must never try and run and hide.
Jeez.
You must do the opposite.
Exactly. Like Sonia Poulter and that. She's just
I know.
a warrior.
I know. She's great.
She's a warrior.
Yeah.
She does not care at all. I do follow Sonia a lot.
Yeah. So this is the key thing. You get any heat, you shout about it.
Yeah. It's weird seeing you stood here.
She wanted to walk right past. I said, no, go and say hello.
You were busy talking.
Yeah, well, there you are.
I said, well, I'll wait patiently till he's finished talking.
Now you've made my life.
Do you think we'll ever win?
Yeah, we're definitely going to win in our lifetime.
Do you reckon?
I don't know. I don't know. And then the other thing is do we win, or is it a bigger battle?
I think it's a bigger battle.
If you say it's a spiritual battle, right? One, we don't have to worry about whether we win it or not, because that's all being taken care of. But we do have to fight, right? You can't walk away from it. You have to do something.
But you still have to keep thinking of yourself as well.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what I try and say to her, because she's up all night worrying about
I work on the front line. I'm an occupational therapist.
All right,
So unfortunately, I work for the government.
I wake up in the morning, and the first thing at 7 o'clock in the morning is what the latest is. I'm like, it's too much.
The golden rule is don't research late at night.
Absolutely.
That is my advice to a lot of people.
Doesn't sleep.
Well, I know.
That's just what I see on the front line, though. The devastation from these jabs is just.
See, I can
honestly,
cut off. I can cut off from the world.
You can, because I've got to work with it. I've got to rehab them people. It's just like, and they're all saying before I had that jab, and I'm like, I tried to tell you, because I was going to get sacked. My career was.
I know. Put a lot of pressure on people,
and I was
didn't
like,
they?
no, and I joined Workers England Union actually, and I downloaded a letter that listed all the laws they were breaking. I'm working for the council. And I was like, no, I'm going to send this letter. So I sent the letter to HR. Never got a response from it, but this letter listed all the laws they were breaking and everything. And then about a week before I was due to get sacked, they changed their mind, and then I left anyways.
Wow.
Yeah, because it upset her that much.
Devastated
she left
me.
anyways.
Devastated me, and I'll never go back to that.
No, I know. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Once you, whatever you want to call it, once you wake up, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
It's very hard to work for the government, but
Yeah.
When I was back at uni, the government funded your uni, and it's all this big vicious circle, isn't it?
Yeah.
They fund you, got uni, but they also fund
Yeah.
you to work for them as well,
Yeah.
and that's the vicious circle.
Yeah.
And
So you don't want to work for
I don't
them,
want to work for him, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to help people at the same time.
Well, this is what
And warn people.
some people say.
Warn
Oh, you're
people.
still using a mobile phone. Well, I use a mobile phone because I can fight better using a mobile
Absolutely.
phone, so I use the mobile phone. But I know what they're saying.
You play
but
them at their own game,
you,
don't
you
you?
can't run away from it and fight it. You have to be in amongst it and
I only
fight
watch.
it.
The only thing I use a mobile phone. We don't have any social media except for YouTube. That's all I watch.
I am
Yeah.
getting the opportunity to warn people.
Yeah.
Like, there's still elderly going for the jab.
Oh, no, I know.
They're still going
well,
for it, and it's like you
She'd
really
get
don't
sacked.
need it anymore.
She'd
You
get
really-
sacked if she gets if
Yeah.
she's
I'm
going
not
into
bothered.
people's houses
I'm
and
not
warning
bothered.
them.
give me a couple of first names so that the audience knows who I've been talking.
Anne-Marie and Tash.
Natasha and Anne-Marie.
Been
Okay,
married
well,
for 18 years.
well done. It's been
I
great
know.
talking to you.
You
And
too.
you.
I'm going to be wandering around all day and tomorrow.
Let me give you a hug.
Thank you.
And I'll see you again,
bless.
guys. Yeah, right.
very much.
Brilliant weekend.
Be
Thank
good.
you.
Be good.
Always.
It's good. Well, my goodness, that was fun. So we're just going to walk back to the UK column tent where Claire is sitting down. She looks as though she's had a lot of customers. How's it been?
It's been good.
Okay.
Looking all hot.
Yeah, well,
have a drink, girl.
That's enough. I've been given a CD. Man says that they're playing at 2:15. So,
Juice, have you heard of that?
and right, so for the audience, I'm back in the UK column shop, and I'm just going to stop this recording. Sorry?
Do you want to do that again without me coughing? Sorry.
No, it's fine. These are all the real sounds of human beings.
Did someone say coffee?
Okay.
Huh?
You want coffee?
Coughing, he said.
Coffee.
It wasn't the coffin that killed him, it was the coffin they carried him off in.
This has gone too far.
Too far. I've got tape.
Right, is
I'd like to take on it, but no.
Well, thanks for the CD. This is lovely. We'll playing later.
we give it a go, see what happens. I think we might
Yes, they can stand here.
see. So a big hello to everybody. We're here in the UK column shop tent, and earlier this morning, I was talking to a lady, and we were having a very interesting conversation, and she agreed to come back and speak to me. There is some impressive music going on, which I'm sure you can all hear, and that music is so loud it's over the whole of the campsite. So we just decided we'd sit down and talk and see what we can record. Right, hello everybody. We're here in the UK column tent. We're at this amazing event organised by The Light. Well done to Darren and the team. And I spoke to a lady this morning who said she'd come back and talk to me and let me record the conversation. So, who are you?
My name is Tina. I'm a retired head teacher, and I'm here because I'm interested in, I've been following the Light newspaper for some time, and yourself, Brian, in the UK column. And there's other people here, such as Piers Corbyn,
Yes.
who I'm a great follower of.
Yep.
Basically we're interested in truth. And our website here is called Declaration of Dumfries, and it's all about truth, rights and sovereignty, and exposing the lies that media and even local news are putting out.
Right. So how did this start then? Who actually created the Declaration of Dumfries?
A guy called Mike Sutherland, who's the key person here. We came together in 2020 when the COVID, well I call it the
Pandemic
started, and we were kind of all in our own little space, knowing that there's something not right here.
Right.
And we joined a group called Connecting Consciousness.
Okay. And this is all north of the border?
It's all north of the border, yes. Dumfries. And we came together and decided to form our own news outlet, if you like. And you know, we've got quite a few articles on this website, and we're looking now to gain a broader audience,
right?
And report the truth. And the main guy is Mike.
Sorry, the truth about what?
About what's going on, you know, with the COVID, the pandemic, the masking of children. We've done articles about that. We've done articles about the mRNA vaccine, which we know is harming people. And you know, our website is all based on facts and researched, evidence-based, you know, stuff. So we are growing, but we're still small operation, but we are growing in numbers. But,
well, small isn't bad, because there are some very powerful small organisations, and they're quite difficult for the establishment to deal with because they're small. And so we need lots of small groups.
We do feel that we are making a dent in some of the organisations that we're attacking. We do a lot of work through FISA requests and find out information of how these so-called mandates are, you know, come about, and how were they established in the first place, you know. And it's very interesting, a lot of the stuff that we're requesting, this information, they can't answer. You know, they cannot answer because there is no laws to
support what
they're trying to do, you know, especially particularly in schools. My interest is the children. You know, I'm a retired head teacher, and I'm appalled at what's been happening at school level, you know, and teachers in compliance with what they're being told to do, and not putting the children first. You know, I just find it appalling.
Yeah. So we live in troubled times, don't we?
Absolutely.
So how many people do you think have you got working in the group?
Well, we've got three main reporters, if you like. I write articles. I've written a couple of articles that you'll find on the website. We've got a woman whose alias is Pod, and she's written articles. And Mike Sutherland, he's the key person here, and he's excellent. That's why I want people to come on and look at the website and judge for themselves what they feel about it. As I say, it's all about truth, sovereignty, and honesty. You know, what we're trying to report.
This is really good. So this is a big initiative north of the border.
Yes.
In Scotland,
In Dumfries,
What made you come to the event today then?
Well, I came because I knew you were going to be here, and I'm trying to get you to feature our website on your programme.
Right.
Even if it's, like you said, about being small, it can have an impact.
Well, that's going to happen because we're having this interview, so we've started, haven't we?
I came because I knew you were going to be here, and I also knew Piers Corbyn, who I've been following for a while, you know, because now we've got the climate change hoax, which I believe is a hoax.
I agree with you.
And, you know, to me it's all about control of humanity, basically, you know, and I think truth just needs to get out there.
Yeah, we need to keep working. I think there's some interesting things starting to happen, because people are not saying, I don't use the term they're waking up, they're just aware something's not right.
Something's not right, and that's a good thing.
That's a good start. So you can start a conversation on the fact somebody says, I don't know what's going on, but something's not right.
Something's not right. Yes. Well, I knew from day one, you know, with this COVID pandemic, whatever you want to call it, that when we had Matt Hancock standing on a podium saying, because I'm a woman of colour, saying that we need to vaccinate blacks and the Asians first, I knew that was a red flag. You know, it was total. Right-wing government do not care about protecting Asians and blacks before, you know.
I had a conversation with a man earlier on, and we were talking about this business of the government. He originally came from, well, he comes from Northern Ireland, and he started to watch UK column, but he said the day that I paid attention was when Brian said, what you've got to realise is the government does not have your best interests at heart. So the government is hostile, and the government hates all of us to varying degrees. So nobody escapes. But yeah.
And I think what's happened and what caught my attention, because my mum was in a care home a few years back. She was actually brutalised in a care home, but that's not the story. When I saw what was happening and taking place in care homes, I was just absolutely appalled that people couldn't visit their loved ones, that they were actually being, in my view, in my opinion, whether I can say this, but murdered with the use of midazolam and morphine. You know, it's outrageous what's happening in this country and what they're doing to the people, their own people.
Yeah.
And this is not just here, this is globally. You know, this is happening. And for them to take the same stance in every single country, doesn't that mean it's global policy? Yes, it does. Yeah. So this is orchestrated and it's planned. Yeah. So when you were a head teacher, what age group were you? I was primary head teacher.
Right.
Yes.
And of course, the young children are the prime target at the moment for the policies that are coming in.
And I think it's appalling. Again, this transgender sexuality of children. I think it's actually being abandoned in Scotland. I'm not 100% sure, but. It's awful. It's outrageous.
But of course, people north of the border did a lot of work in countering the named person scheme. And the back.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, and the back. School, because that was very intrusive.
Yes.
And
one of a lady, I can't remember her name, but a lady member of the Scottish Parliament was on record as saying publicly, "Don't worry, the parents will also have a responsibility in bringing up the child." So the inference was that the state was going to take over the role.
Absolutely, And I was totally against it. And unfortunately, I'm retired now, and I know if I hadn't been in school during this pandemic period, I probably would have been sacked, because I could not stand back and listen and go along with what was happening in schools. You know, you were separating children in cultural diversity groups. They were being separated. You had children in bubbles. They were not allowed to hold hands with their friends. It was just simply appalling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you just say as much or little as you want, but what about sort of colleagues, people that you worked with or came to? Have you got people that you knew who you think are also seeing things, or are you the only one?
No, I don't. Unfortunately not. Even where I live, it's a very conservative area where I live, and they've gone along with everything. In fact, I've got a neighbour who's actually, I better be very careful what I'm saying.
No, it's okay.
People fully, they're being fully duped by what's happening.
And they can't see it. Some people can't see it. No, this is true. Yeah.
And unfortunately, and I'm just my hope is that there will be an awakening, a great awakening. Well, sure
I think there's going to be a great awakening, but it's a creeping awakening. People imagine that all of a sudden lots of people are going to wake up. I never saw it like that. I think it's just slowly but surely, and it accelerates. But it's not going to be 100% people who wake up. It's going to be 10% or 15%, and that makes the difference. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's what my hope is. I want justice as well. I want justice for the old people. I want justice for the children. I mean, the suicide rate from my research has gone up massively amongst young boys in particular.
Right.
And that's factual. That's on the government website. You know. So I think These God need to change.
Yeah.
You know, truth needs to be out there, and that's what we're doing. That's our outfit. That's all we're trying to do is expose lies.
But you've done the right thing, because you and a small number of other people have actually said, let's do something. This is the key bit.
Yes.
So yeah. I mean, we started, the UK column started the first month we published an A4 sheet printed on both sides, and we had 500 copies, and we pushed those out. And the next month we did another 500 copies, and the third month, or maybe it was the fourth month, we did an A4 sheet, which was 4 pages, right? And then people started to contact us, and when they contacted us, then we learnt things. Do you know this is going on? Do you know this and that? And that's when we started to grow. So you've got to start somewhere.
And you know, Mike has already had an interview with Dr. Malik. I don't know whether he's had an interview with him. He's also going to be. He's actually been in contact with John O'Looney. Have you heard of him?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
And John O'Looney has sent him a stick with a lot of information on that we can publish on our website. So basically, if you can direct some of your audience to ours, you know, I think if we come together and, you know,
we've started. We're talking, right? So it started. But yeah, absolutely, this is how it should work, and this is the beauty of the event today, because you know the Light newspaper came along and got going, and we're really impressed with what they've done, and they've invited us here, and it all begins to go.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, people start talking to each other, you know, and hopefully the word spreads, and this is all we can hope for.
Okay, so just to end, to get you to do this, summary of who you are and what you're trying to do.
Okay, we're a small group of people in Dumfries who are trying, we have a website called Declaration of Dumfries, and we're trying to make people aware of basically what's happening. You know, and try and get the truth out there. And we publish everything we publish is, you know, factual and evidence based. So you know, that's basically what we're trying to do.
Okay, that's brilliant. And what about a website address? Can you tell us the website address?
It's Declaration of Dumfries.
.com or
if you type that in, Declaration of Dumfries, you'll find us.
Okay.
And it's full of articles. It's full of stuff that Mike's done. That's, like I say, he's got lots of information via fires and requests, and you'll find a lot of information there.
Brilliant. So there you are. You've done it. That was easy, wasn't it?
So I start off with what I wanted.
Just talk normally. Yeah. Because
what I wanted to raise was just I've got 5 things to think about, but one of them, very simple, it's more about the brainwashing and the names of organisations they use. But you see, we think of World Economic Forum as a hate object, right? But look, for the public, it's world, it's economic, it's a forum. What's wrong with something in for the whole world? And a forum, it's just discussion. So the name itself is to sell itself. World Health Organization. I mean, this whole word, health, what's wrong with health? Yeah. So, you know, again, it's to brainwash us. And I think, look out for anything they come up with. That's all I'd say on that, actually.
No, I agree. It's an important thing, and it ties in, I think, with what I started to say about charities, that just because something calls itself a charity, don't trust it, investigate it. But yeah, they often choose names which are designed to lure people to think that it's, you know, altruistic, it's got people's best interests at heart, and oh my goodness, we're having meetings, we're here to help you. In fact, don't worry, we will do your thinking for you.
Okay.
So,
well, I agree with that completely. Well, next thing about the origin of, you know, important figures in the world, and I don't know, the more I look, the more scared I become. Just a question. Who was Lenin?
Just round a bit to twist it. That's it. That's it.
Who was Lenin?
Yeah.
Well, Lenin was funded by the Germans and big banks to foment the Russian Revolution. They wanted to get rid of the Tsar. That was the objective. But what followed was this, dictated downwards communism, right? So the banks involved with backing Lenin wanted that. Now, of course, a lot of people thought, well, this is a step forward from, rabid capitalism under Victorian England. But, okay, you can think what you want, but it led to this dictatorship type of approach. Now, when Marx wrote his Labour Theory of Value, he had lots of ideas, but it didn't automatically lead to this dictatorship type of thing, because one thing that followed was like cooperative socialism in Rochdale. Well, when we look at that, I think, well, that's okay. What's the problem? So why should we interpret Marx's writings about the Labour Theory of Value to mean communist dictatorship rather than cooperative socialism? And it's interesting how, one has come and overruled the other. And I just think that's very interesting. Where did these forces come from? Because it's clear that this communistic dictatorship model is now adopted by the World Economic Forum, not run by a state apparatus, not directly, but more or less directly. However, what's behind it is the mega corporations instead of what they called the common ownership of the means of production.
Yeah, this is a big subject, Piers, isn't it?
But it gives power to the mega elite, not power to the workers, which was meant to be what the Communist Party was doing.
I had the pleasure of interviewing a guy called J. Michael Waller a couple of weeks ago. He's written a book called Big Intel, but he's an interesting guy because basically he's got a background in CIA and American security.
I think.
And in his book, of course, he gets into, when we're talking communism, what we're talking about, where did it come from, who created it, and you get into the conundrum that it certainly seems to me the communist ideology was developed largely by people in the West, funded by people in the West.
Correct, that's right.
But
that's what I've understood.
He then takes it through and says that he's watched the subversion of America take place, whether it's woke culture, whatever it is, undermining the traditional values and morality of the US. And then
American
he said,
Constitution, really, it's amazing. That would be good, if it was.
If it was. But then he said, but what we've got is that the very security services designed to protect America have also been taken over by the agenda. Correct. So you have the fact that the CIA and the FBI are running woke agendas, which is destroying their own performance. And I said to him, this is so fascinating because I can say to you, how is it you, as a man who's worked in these fields, you can see it, but all the other people inside the American security system apparently can't see it. But we got the same thing happening with the British security services and other European ones, where a culture that's doing damage in our society is also damaging the way MI5 or MI6 or GCHQ is working. And there's only one answer to that the people who are controlling the security services are also part of the agenda.
Correct.
There's no other explanation for it, because we've seen MI5 and MI6 talking about recruiting, and they're widening the pool of recruits. And Alex Thompson, who's a regular reporter with UK Com, and his background is GCHQ, and he points out that essentially, we're dropping the recorder on the floor. He points out that the quality of the people inside the security service has been weakened. They don't know the language, they haven't got the background on Russia or China or Eastern European states. So the damage is not only being done in the society, it's being done inside the organisations which say they're there to protect us. And therefore, we got to look even higher because we got to look above them. Who actually? Sorry, I'm dropping stuff in front of the camera.
All right.
It's all right. We're sat in the back of a car, very close.
We are.
So, so it's fascinating. You're now into this business. Who controls these organisations?
Yeah.
Who does it? It's not politicians, is it?
No. No, well, there's loads of things to go on that. Like, well, Lenin said in State and Revolution, he says the working class cannot lay hold of the ready-made functions of the state apparatus. It has to replace them. Well, that makes a lot of sense, but what did he replace them with? Because he actually took over the NKVD and turned it, which is the Tsar's secret police, and turned it into his own secret police. It'd be nice to be interviewed by the BBC, wouldn't it?
Oh, come on.
Can you close the door?
Come on, Piers, there are limits.
There are limits. All right. So, next one. Who was who? We see, I'll list some others, but just go through them. Orwell. Now, we sort of worship stuff Orwell said, but on the other hand, there's a statue of Orwell at the BBC. And was he really, detached telling us something good, or was he there preparing us with all this stuff? You know what I mean? Because the effect of what he's done is actually that. I don't know if he's a good or bad person, but that's a very interesting question about Orwell. Another one, I'll just list them. Tony Benn. Now, who was Tony Benn? He came from a very rich background. He was on the committee of 300, which set the scene for the World Economic Forum.
I didn't know that.
Well, he did. Very interesting. Now, he'd probably say, "Oh, Piers, I have to be there to see what they're doing." Okay, but who was he really? Because one of his key things in the Labour Party, he said, "People, we have to unite." Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We have to unite. But any organisation, it's like a bird, it needs a left wing and a right wing. Okay, so the Labour Party needs a left wing and a right wing. So the right shouldn't expel the left and the left shouldn't expel the right. But you see, that limits the Labour Party completely into pure social democracy, whereby they will just march the troops up to the top of the hill and march them down again. They'll make protest to beg the powers that be to give. And that happened in the general strike, 1929. The whole working class was on strike. And then they turn up to the cabinet and they asked, "What do you want?" And they said, "We want more money." And the government says, "We're not giving you." What did they do? They went back to work, with the miners accepting lower wages than they had when they started. That was total defeat. They had the whole working class organised because they didn't have the ideology to take over. You see, they should have taken over all the communities, but they didn't have that. They were begging politicians to do it. So,
that's a really interesting point. Really interesting.
Think about Tony Benn, what he really did. I mean, everyone says he's a great guy, and I knew him. He gave me some really good advice, but in the bigger picture, what was he? Okay. There's other ones. We've done Rochdale Pioneers and Tony Benn. There was probably some other politicians I thought of, which I can't think of now. But I think we have to look deeper into all of these people, because they will get influenced, or even they're part of something right at the start. We know now that I think Tony Blair and David Lammy were imported from the other side, from the WEF, straight into the Labour Party. Now, I was at a rally in 1997. We just won the general election, great stuff in Stratford, and I'm with my mates. We've just seen all the campaigning, we've been praised, and I was one of the best organisers, they were some of the best campaigners, stuff like that. This guy comes on stage. David Lammy is going to speak, and we said, "Who's David Lammy?" None of us knew who David Lammy was. He spoke, and he was introduced as if he was the bee's knees. Well, he'd done nothing, to my knowledge, but he was imported at that point, popped into Parliament, and becomes, the sidekick of all sorts of people to implement evil. So, what was he? Black guy, good cover, you know what I mean? So, there will be people like this. And just be very careful of any progressives. So, shall I move on to my next one straight away?
Yeah, keep going, because you're into good stuff.
All right. Number 4 I've got on the list is vaxes, the origin of vaccines.
And at this point, I need to tell viewers and listeners that when I tried to upload this edition of Walking the Dog to YouTube, I was hit by a strike. And the strike was medical misinformation. This is the section where Piers Corbyn is trying to talk to the public about vaccines. And the YouTube policy concerned is that content that poses a serious risk of egregious harm by spreading medical misinformation about currently administered vaccines that are approved and confirmed to be safe and effective by local health authorities and the World Health Organization isn't allowed on YouTube. I just wanted to come in there and say,
sure,
and of course you've got this business that people want to trust the people making the policy. These are, and now we're heading towards people who are, they are medical, they're into the pharmaceuticals. These people have only got our best interest. No, this is a great mistake. And what are you doing here? You are using your intelligence and your professional training to ask simple, penetrating questions about what's really going on. And that's what everybody should be doing to the best of their ability.
Anyone who's got knowledge should use it. Also check their own knowledge, but use it. Yeah.
There's a man in Cornwall called Rob Ryder. He's a window cleaner. That's what his business is. Brilliant. And he got very interested in, and he said, I knew that I couldn't go anywhere as a window cleaner and challenge what was happening because everybody laughed at me. So what he did is he collected the government's own data, and when you looked at the data, you find that their data does not match the results that they say the data gives. And he can show this very clearly. So he started to talk about the government's own data and the fact that policy was not producing healthier people, it was producing unhealthier people.
And that book, What Really Makes You Ill, goes into that too.
Yeah, and he's ended up, I think he's written about 3 little books now, but tremendous that a man took it on himself to take on the system using an evidence base, and he uses their own evidence against them, and this has achieved a lot. So you're coming in as an intellectual, qualified scientist, and you're asking the key questions. But
that really upsets them.
That really upsets them.
I did that in the Royal Society. The minutes of the subsequent meeting weren't what there.
Yeah.
It was there were questions and answers. Yeah. But I nailed them completely. Yeah. And they were shivering. I mean, they lost the argument. Yeah. It's not recorded at all.
Yeah, but the other end of the scale, we've got somebody. Rob's a very modest man. He's a lovely guy when you meet him. He has taken the trouble to challenge the government on their own statistics, and he's got many letters where he's written to MPs, or he's written into the Department of Health, or he's gone to other medical bodies. And they cannot answer him because he's putting the evidence in front of them. And this is where we're getting a little bit towards the end, but I just like to see people challenging the system in a very measured, controlled way, making sure they got the evidence first, and then you go and challenge these people on the basis of the real evidence that you hold. But people must stop believing that some unknown person has got their interests at heart better than their own mind, their own brain. You look after yourself, you look after your family. I need to go because I've promised some other people. I'm happy to catch you later, but you talk to the camera, Piers.
I'm going to talk about ultra-conspiracism and evidence-based science, which follows straight from what you've just been saying. So I think that's excellent.
It's been great speaking with you.
Fantastic we use it, isn't it?
In this interesting studio, and I'm going to thank you guys for allowing us in.
You've got plenty of these, haven't you?
I have.
Okay.
I also got Poppy the dog with me. If you want to give me more leaflets, I'll take them.
I do.
But what we're showing in a live stream here is a little bit of networking and how we should all be helping each other to get this information
It's a bit
across.
about boycotts, Palestine,
Yeah.
but I mean...
Thank you very much. Yeah.
There's a few of these. How many of these do you want?
Well, you give me what you like and I'll put them on there, because there's still plenty of people coming to the UK column still, so that's
Stick
great.
it on there. Take them all.
Right, fantastic. Right,
Brian, that was brilliant, and thank you very much.
it was fun, wasn't it? I enjoyed that. So it's 10:10. It's pretty cold. The sky's grey, and we're stood here on this muddy field. So I'm going to say, Mr. Charles Mallet, how have you found it?
It's not that cold, Brian. That's going to be my starter.
That's because you got bare legs and your shorts on. But I'm
expose yourself to the elements.
What's your feeling on the first sort of music festival? The light special.
I think it's been absolutely fantastic, and I've said it to a lot of the lovely people that have turned up to the UK column tent, and it's a marvellous opportunity for both parties. A lot of people have been very generous in their words and come to say all the things that are so much more meaningful when they're delivered face to face than they can ever be on a computer screen. But also I found personally it's a great chance to talk to the people that you're otherwise communicating to in a sort of one-way sense on the news, and get to hear about the stuff that drives them, that motivates them, that interests them. Also, the stuff that they're deeply knowledgeable about. The stuff I've learned in the last 3 days is absolutely incredible, and it just cements in my mind the extraordinary relationship the UK column has with the viewing and listening audience. It's remarkable, but this has been a great place for it. It's a brilliant mixture of fun and interest and culture and activity and music and jollity. I think people really need this stuff. They really do.
Yeah, because it's de-stresses, and the prevalent comment as I went round talking to people was always that they could talk easily to other people.
Yes.
And they feel comfortable in the conversation, and nobody was going to get upset because they were talking about whatever they were talking about. So it was the human communication and contact side which most people have enjoyed, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, they really have. I think that's been phenomenal for people. And it's okay. We are in the sort of far northwest, but people have come from fairly far and wide for this. I mean, there are quite a lot of people from the area, but also
Kent.
I've had a Southamptoner, if that's the right word today. A lot down from Scotland. Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. Also, really good age range. Loads of families, masses of dogs as well, which has been lovely.
Yeah, well, that shows something about the people, isn't it?
It does.
They all love dogs.
Actually, well-behaved dogs, I should say. Yeah, but no, I think it's been phenomenal, and a great outing for UK column. I think we really should look forward to doing more of this when we can, because I think it really does make a difference for everybody. But,
great.
It's been great fun.
Brilliant. Thank you for that little clip. So come on then, Kenny. You've been there in the shop, and a lot of people come in. What's your impression of the people that have come to speak to us?
When you've got a festival like this and it's all like-minded people getting together, it's just great, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's brilliant. Yeah. And people have said some really lovely things to us, with many of them finding the UK column during lockdown and then saying...
Someone just pulled me into their van, like going quite dodgy, but they gave me a whiskey to say, thank you UK column, you kept me sane. And it's like, well, I'm just the helper guy. But they're giving me free whiskey, so thank you UK column.
And we got a bottle of rum, which we probably should deal with in a few minutes, so that's good. But it's been excellent. Claire's been very good because she was wary of camping. She was worried about bears, but we did try and reassure her that this was unlikely in Cumbria. But she's done good. Poppy's done good. She's actually in her bed at the moment with a woolly jumper on, and she's covered up by a blanket. But I think she's looking forward to a little bit of peace and quiet. So we're going to sign off now because we need to take stuff back to the tent, and probably we need a cup of tea and a hot toddy. And we'll say more to our UK column audience in the coming week. So thanks for all the support from all of you. It's been brilliant. All right, we'll see you again. Bye-bye.